Hi my loves, and welcome back to another episode of Josh's Way. Thank you so much for tuning into this week's video. So for today's video, I will be updating my last how to edit my Instagram photos videos. Recently, I've been really diving into a specific aesthetic when it comes to my Instagram and having everything correlated together, meaning I also updated the way I edit my Instagram pictures in order to have that certain aesthetic. Now, for the last couple of days and weeks, I would say, I've been getting a lot of DMs and a lot of questions as to how I edit my Instagram pictures. So I will be showing you guys today step by step as to how I edit my Instagram pictures. So let's get into it. He's constantly in my videos. Like, he's actually the star. Like, I'm just a guest. I'm his guest, but he's actually the star of every single YouTube video. So I have my trusty old phone here, and I will be going through everything that I do when I edit my Instagram pictures. Now, in my last how I edit my Instagram pictures, all the apps that I use in that video, they all stay the same. So the apps that I use in order to edit my Instagram pictures are Prequel, Visco, and the Facetune app. These apps are still the apps that I use in order to edit my stuff. I also have been using a new app called Retouch, and I also talked about this in my What's on my iPhone video that I also posted recently. I've also been using Retouch, and it's honestly amazing. It's been saving me a lot of time when it comes to photo editing. So I added this on my list as well. So let's jump right into it. So the picture that I will be editing is this one right here. This is actually the last photo shoot I did when I was in Toronto before coming back to Aruba last year because of this entire pandemic. Hopefully I'll get to return to Toronto soon, but this is the last photo I took, and my really good friend Jamila, hi sweetheart, she took this picture for me. So we will be using this picture right here. So the first app we're going to be diving into is Prequel. So we're going to open up the photo in Prequel, and I have a little screen here so you guys can follow along as to what I'm doing. So let me just, hopefully there's enough space now. But you're going to open up the photo in Prequel, and so we have our little photo here. So you're going to go into filter, and there's this filter called Indie Kid, and you're going to click on that, and you're going to click on it again in order to edit the settings. So the filter for me is set at 16. I always set it at 16 because it's the right amount of filter that I would like. If it's too much, it makes my skin look too orange, and if it's too less, it doesn't really do anything. So at around 16, in between 16 to 21 is how I usually set it. So I'm actually really happy with how this looks, so I'm just gonna leave it at 16. So you're going to export this. This is kind of a long process, but it is a process that I always do, so I'm going to be doing the same thing. Maybe there is a faster way of doing this, but I didn't figure it out yet, but like this is how I do it. If there's anyone else out there who uses Prequel a lot and like there's like an easier way to do this, please let me know, but this is the way that I do it, and it's been working for me, so yeah. So you're going to export this photo, then you're going to quit the editing that you're using, and you're going to add the photo that you just edited. So you're going to bring the just edited photo back into Prequel, and we're going to go into another filter, and this filter is called, there we go, it's called Porto, like right there, Porto. When you click it, so you add this filter on top of the already edited photo. And then you click it again in order to set the settings. Again, I always put the filters in between 16 to 21. So like for example, this one is 19. I'm actually really happy with how it's looking. So again, you're going to export this. So the same process as before, export it, save photo, and then you're going to add this photo back into Prequel. So basically you're editing your photos step by step with different filters, but you're adding the filter to the already edited photo, if that makes any sense. We are going to add this photo again into Prequel, and you're gonna go back into filter, and next to Indie Kid, we have this filter called Teal, and then you click that and you add that in there. Again, the same setting is between 16 to 21. So for example, this one is set at 21, and I really like how that's looking. It's really giving that blue, really beautiful color. So that's Teal. So that's the third step. So you already added the filter Indie Kid, Porto, and now you're going to add Teal. So you're going to export this and save this photo. Come back into Prequel with the last edited photo, and we're going to add another filter, and this filter is called Miami. And this filter is right next to Teal, it's called Miami, and then you can adjust the settings. This is set at 17, and you always want to check if it looks good, and I'm actually really happy with how that looks. So you're going to export this and save this photo, and this is the last step, and finishing off using Prequel for editing my photo. So you're going to go into effects this time, and you're going to scroll through the effects until you find this one called Chroma, which is one right here. And this adds that, I don't know how to explain it, but it adds like a little vintage like feel to it. And I love how you can like set off and on the date. I always leave the date on because it gives it that like Polaroid, you know, those old cameras always add the date, and I really like that vintage look, so I always keep the date on. And again, you can play around with the filter, with the intensity. This one is set as 27, which is a little bit too high. However, I realize that I do like that look when it is at 27, so I'm gonna leave it at 27. And you're gonna export this, and then you are done in Prequel. So now we're done with the first step. So we're done into Prequel, and we already have, honestly, a really beautiful edited picture in comparison to what it is before. But at the end of the video, I will be showing a before and after as to what the pictures look like. So now that we're done into Prequel, we will be moving into the Facetune app. So you're gonna open up the picture into the Facetune app, and for example, for this picture, I wouldn't do this step, but it is a step that I do when editing my Instagram pictures, so I might as well edit into this video. But if I have a picture like this, I wouldn't really use it, because Facetune I really use to just like smooth out a pimple if I have any, or like for example, if there's something in the picture that's like really like not as smooth as I want it, I would smooth out a little bit, and that's basically all I do in Facetune. So for example, in this picture, I don't really see anything I have to smooth out, but for the sake of this video, I will be showing you what I would have done if there is something to smooth out. So you're gonna go into the retouch option, and you're gonna go into smooth, and let's say I want to smooth out my face a little bit, so I'm just gonna zoom in here, and I'm just gonna like smooth out the parts that I want to be a little bit more smoother. For example, the side of my face, let's just add a little bit on my forehead, where the sun is exposing, because like you don't really want to add anything in the shadow because it's not gonna show. Okay, so for example, if this is the before and after, it really matte everything out and smooth everything out. However, I don't want it to be as intense, so I bring down the intensity at around 45, and I do this with all my pictures just to like make it a little bit more natural and not so like harsh. So yeah, you can see the before and after when I smooth it out, and then that's basically all I do into Facetune. I use Facetune a lot if, for example, I'm doing like a close-up selfie, or if my face is like really up in the screen, it's like a really close like shot of my face, I would use Facetune just to smooth out my skin texture or a pimple if I have to, and if I see if it's necessary, because sometimes I do have huge pimples, not all the time, but if it is necessary, I just smooth it out a little bit. So that is the second step when editing my Instagram pictures. Now the third step is retouch, and I will be showing you how you do that right now. So you're gonna open up the picture in your Retouch app like so, and Retouch is basically an app like Photoshop. It removes anything in the picture that you want to. For example, if there's something really distracting in the background, or if there's something you want to remove in the photo in order to make it look better, you can do this with Retouch. So for example, in this photo, let's say I want to remove that little, there's like this little street light right here in the little corner. I know I have a keen eye for detail, I literally look at everything. So let's just say I want to remove that. You can do that with Retouch. So you're gonna go into object removal, you're just going to kind of circle around that, click go, and voila, it is gone. It is like it never existed, and now it makes that part of the sky look a bit more cleaner, in my opinion. Some people wouldn't notice, however I notice literally every single detail, so I would want to remove that. Retouch works really well if you want to remove something a little bit more on the smaller side. If it's like a huge thing that you want to remove in your picture, then Retouch might not remove it as smoothly. You're going to have to work with it a little bit. However, you can try and see if you can remove it as best as you can. But if you have something really minor that you want to remove from your photo that you really don't like, you can do that with Retouch. I would really look into this app. It's a really cool app. So that is the third step when editing my Instagram photos, and we are going to move on to the last step, which is using VSCO. So you're gonna open up your picture in VSCO like so. And basically what I do into VSCO is I add a little bit of grain effect. I don't know if there's like another app you can use to edit the grain effect. Maybe in Prequel you can add grain too. I just didn't find it. So, but I use grain in VSCO because I feel like the grain in VSCO is a little bit better than everything else I tried. I don't know, it's weird. So I always like to use grain in VSCO in order to, you know, give that photo a little bit of more of a vintage feel. For some reason, I really do like that vintage feel when it comes to like my pictures. So I try to make it look as vintage as I can. So in VSCO, you're going to open up your photo like so, and you're gonna go into this little edit section next to this one. I don't know how you call that, but you have this one with all the filters, and you have next to it the editing thingy tool. So you're gonna go into grain, and I always put my grain to 2.3 plus 2.3. I feel like this is enough in order to add that little bit of grain effect, but it's not overpowering. Sometimes you can add more, sometimes you can add less, depending on the photo as well. So I usually edit at 2.3. I don't usually go above that, but like sometimes in different photos it requires a little bit more just to see that grain. But I would say for this photo, it's, wait, let me just try and see if I can play with it a little bit more. At around there. Okay, so for this picture, I'm gonna set it at 2.6. I actually really like how that looks. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So I'm just gonna save this and save it to my camera roll. So that is the fourth and final step when editing my Instagram photos. Whenever I edit my Instagram photos, I literally go through all these steps just the way I showed you guys every single time. So then you have a photo that looks like this. So let's compare it to the original. So this is the original right here. And this is the final edited photo. I think there's a huge difference. The edited photo looks much more cleaner, much more vibrant, much more happy. It has that vintage look, and it's just popping in like a different way than the original. And I really like how I am now editing my Instagram photos just to have this specific effect. So yeah guys, that concludes this week's video of how I am now editing my Instagram photos. Again, my editing skills change throughout time, so this is now what I'm really liking what I'm doing with my Instagram. Maybe in the future I might change it, you never know, maybe next month I'll come up with something new. But for now, I'm really satisfied with the way I'm editing my Instagram photos now, and I really encourage every single one of you in order to try your own thing. Maybe my style is not particularly something that you like to do. However, if my Instagram feed, for some of you, it has that really beautiful aesthetic that you guys want, now you know how I edit my Instagram photos in order to achieve that specific aesthetic within my Instagram. So thank you guys so much for tuning into this week's video. I really do appreciate you guys being here every single time. You have no idea. If you are new to my channel, hi. I should have said this at the beginning. Hi, my name is Joshue Garcia. I am a lifestyle YouTuber and vlogger showing you tips and tricks of my life and basically giving you insight as to what it is to do everything the Josh's way. If you guys like this week's video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I will also be linking my Instagram down below so you guys can go ahead and give me a follow. I will be linking my Instagram for both my design and my modeling page, my content creating page, and also I'll be linking my TikTok. I don't really use TikTok all that much. However, it's for entertaining purposes. So if you guys want to go ahead and give me a follow, you guys can go ahead and do that in the description below. And I think that's it. Yeah. So again, thank you guys so much for tuning into this week's video, and I will see you all next week. Bye.